So let's start with the today's session. Today, what we'll be doing is we'll be looking into some concepts from probability that are relevant for learning related purposes or for deriving inference from the problem that we have in hand. Okay, let me share my screen. So the screen is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it says probability is simply how likely something is to happen. It is as easy as that. So we are trying to identify that how likely is there an event that is going to happen. Okay, and that event could be anything. All right, we will see with many examples during the complete lecture that what we mean by the events here or what is going to happen here. But probability, in the most naive sense, is it is likeliness or likelihood of an event to happen. Okay, so we will see with many standard terms and so on. As of now, just keep that. So, in other words, what we can say that probability helps us understand outcomes of experiments, where experiments are procedures through which samples are collected. So, yesterday when we were studying about statistical concepts, what we were doing is we were majorly focusing upon samples, right? So there were data sets. Data sets were containing a lot of samples from whatever the experiments we did, and then based on those experiments we derived some inferences, some statistical measures which will help us understand the complete sample space. All right, the space from where we are collecting the samples. Okay, and probably what I so let's say if an experiment is to to just pick one of the students from a class, and let's say after picking that student from the class, we try to know the gender of that student, then the outcome is the gender of that student, right? So the probability, what probability will do, it will help us understand that given any experiment, what could be the outcome of that experiment, which is a little bit related to the problem of inference, right? That is what we are trying to achieve when we are talking about inference. That given an experiment, we want to know its outcome. So, what experiment is, what are the outcomes that we are looking for? That those are all different problems. But on a very larger scale, this is what we want to achieve, right? So, it will help us in that. So for that same purpose, we'll study some important concepts about probability before moving on to inferences. So here are some important terms that are relevant to probability when we'll be talking about probability. First is sample space. So just as I discussed, what is sample space? Sample space is nothing but the complete space or the complete set of outcomes that could be there from any given experiment. For example, let's say you must have done a lot of problems like this. I'm again giving you an example. So let's say there is a box. In that box, there are let's say 10 balls of different colors. Some are red, some are blue, some are green, and so on. So now in that case, that is my sample space. All right. Uh, so, if an experiment is to pick any one ball from that particular box containing 10 balls, then the sample space is that that particular ball could be of one of the three colors. So, sample space is set of all possible. Now, let's say if we are trying to pick two balls from that box, then in that case, sample space will be slightly bigger, because in that case, either the two balls could be red, both of them could be green, both of them could be blue, or each one of them could be of different colors, and so on. So, that is how the possible outcomes could be different depending upon the experiment. And the sample space is collection of all such possible outcomes. Now, what is closure? So, we'll study closure in a few minutes later when we'll discuss about random variables. All right, so we'll drop this closure thing right now. We'll discuss this when we discuss random. So, what could be operators? From where this term sample space comes in. So, let's say you are doing experiments that collect values that can be, let's say, represented on a linear scale. All right. So we are doing such an experiment. For example, let's say we are picking up students from a class and asking their age from them. Okay. So if there is such an experiment, what would happen is that the outcome of each experiment would lie somewhere on this scale. It could be, let's say, from 10 to 13 years or 14 years and so on. So whatever value, whatever the answer we get from the student after picking that student from the class, the value will be somewhere on this scale. Similarly, let's say if we are doing a experiment where we have two such parameters, let's say we have age as well as height. In that case, what will happen is that we'll be having a space like this. Okay, here we have put age and here we have height. Now, for each candidate that we pick from the class, he will have some height value and he will have some age value. Depending on that, we will draw a point somewhere over here. All right. And in this space, every point in this space can be a possible outcome of our experiment, isn't it? So, our experiment here is to pick a student from the class. So, when you pick a student from a class, he could have these two values in these two ranges. Height could range from here to here, age could range from here to here, and in that case every student will be nothing but a point on this chart or in within this space, and that is why we call it a sample space. So within this sample space, if you take any sample, any point, all right, that is a possible outcome. Okay. And what operators does is, let's say if you have been given two different type of events in some case, so this is not relevant to this problem. So all of you know about Venn diagrams, right? What Venn diagrams are?
Yes, sir.
So let's say now I'll try to draw Venn diagram. So given two Venn diagrams, we will represent each of the collection of samples by some name. Okay, so let's say this particular sample is named X, and this particular collection is named X, and this collection is named Y. In that case, these collections may have some relationship with each other. Why? Because they are all contained within one sample space. Is that okay? So we can also have some operations on such collections, and each of such collection, those are variables in case of again, they are not exactly variables, they are what we call events, but I'll just explain them later. Okay, let's first explain event. So what is event? Event is a set of outcomes, but not all possible outcomes. It is a subset of sample space. So there will be some definition of this event. Let's say, for example, the event is such that the picked student is a girl, or the picked student uh, has a height between 10 to 11. That is like very low figure. Let's say 100 to 120 centimeters, and the age within 10 to 11, that we can do. In that case, let's say if the age is plotted here and the height is plotted here, and let's say X is an event such that age lies between 10 to 11 and height lies between maybe 100 to 120. We can also write this as sorry 10 comma 11, and we can also write this as 100 comma 120. Do you know about these open and closed bracket notations? Let's say if I write some variable X as 0 to 1, what does this mean? That this variable X can take the values 0, 1, as well as all the values in between them. Okay, and when I write X equals to 0 comma 1 with round brackets, it means that X can take any values between 0 and 1, but not 0 and 1. Okay, that is what these notations mean. So here we can also write it like this. So X is an event such that A is equals to 10 to 11 and H equals to 120 within round bracket. So if we try to identify this space within this complete sample space, our X will lie somewhere around here. And similarly, Y could be lying somewhere around somewhere else depending upon the definition of Y. Okay. And now, since these are acting as subspaces within this larger subspace, we can have some operations on them. For example, the first operation is union of X and Y. So in this particular case, what is union of X and Y? This is empty space. Oh, sorry. The union in X and Y will be this space as well as this space. So the mixture of two. So what would that mean? That let's say the conditions of X as well as conditions of Y, or even if either of them are true. Such a set so that even if the conditions of X are met or the conditions of Y are met, will accept that as a possible candidate for this particular operation. And the intersection, in this case, there is no intersection. These are not overlapping. So the intersection is the null set. Okay, there is no intersection on this. Instead, let's say if X and Y were like this, maybe somewhat like this, then this intersection here would be represented by X dot Y. Or you must have also used these notations, U for union and inverted U for intersection, right? So these are also two possible notations for these operations on sets within a simple space. That was just about notations, just trying to give you or maybe help you recall these concepts. What is probability? It can be written as number of outcomes in F. F is an event here, divided by total number of outcomes in sigma. Here sigma is the sample space. So given an event, how many outcomes lie in that, divided by total number of outcomes. Or we can say that given such a Venn diagram, let's say if there is this Venn diagram and there is this event E or F, right? And this complete, we write it as sigma, that this complete sample space is sigma and this is our event F. Then F is the area covered by this F divided by the area of sigma. Can I say that?
Yes, sir.
Not exactly. It is not exactly an area, but it is more like which samples are included by F. But just to denote that into the Venn diagram and to understand it more visually, more pictorially, I can say that probability of F is can be written as the area covered by F over the area of sigma, or divided by the area of sigma. Or we can also understand it as area of relative to sigma. We can also say that is just to give you a visual like understanding of probabilities, how we can visualize probabilities. That is just to give you that example. So before we proceed further, just to get a quick check on the probability concepts of all of you, here is just one problem that you will have to attempt on your own. So the problem is three students, it's not written clearly, just three students are selected randomly from a class. Given B1 is an event that there is only one boy. Out of those three, there is only one boy, and there is another this event C such that there are more girls than boys. Out of these three students, there are more girls than boys. Now you have to find PB1 and PC. Please go ahead, do that. Take a pen, take a paper, quickly find out these probabilities and give me answer.